To be honest, I don't regret how I started my business or what I learned along the way because it helped me make multi-six figures in my 20s. But I know a lot of you are starting your business. So if I were to go back in time and restart my business, these are the 5 things that I would avoid and things that I wish I knew sooner before I actually started. And I just want to say, if you are starting your first business, an online business, I just want to say congrats, because everybody on social media makes it out to be something that's really, really simple and easy. And once you have it up and going, it can be. However, in the beginning, it is hard work and it takes a lot of effort. So I'm gonna make it so much easier for you in this video, and I'm gonna lay out everything that I wish I knew before I started my business. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I wish I knew before I start my business is there are 1,000,001 strategies on how to actually grow a business, but you want to choose one that aligns with you the most. Now, in the really beginning, I spent so many hours spending so much time learning all of the strategies about email marketing, webinars, Facebook ads, Facebook groups, Instagram strategy. And although I learned so much information and I know a lot about marketing now, all it really did was overwhelm me because I thought I needed to implement every single strategy in order to be successful in my business. And I was honestly trying to find like the best one out there, and honestly like the easiest and simple one for me to make 6 figures. But slowly I learned that every single strategy out there actually works, but it's more about the strategy that you want to implement in your business. And do not get sucked in by people on social media saying this is the best strategy to grow your business this year. It might be, and that might be something that's trending, but overall, every single strategy works. It's more about what you want to learn, what you want to implement, and then on the long run, what you actually want to refine. And once again, no one really told me that all of those strategies work. It's more about what you want to work for your business and what you really want to focus on. And how I discovered my strategy and what I want to focus on when it comes to marketing my business is asking myself, what type of marketing strategy aligns with me the most in terms of it's fun to create on, I actually want to sell every single day. And for me, that was Instagram. It's like I like creating Instagram reels, Instagram carousels, posting on stories versus doing something like Facebook ads, because that's more so behind the scenes and it's not really organic in me connecting with my audience. However, if you are somebody who doesn't necessarily want to create a lot of content, you don't want a personal brand, you just want a business where you are making money and clients are coming to you, where you don't really have to post any videos on social media, Facebook ads might be the strategy that works for you. And I know people who make millions off of an organic Instagram strategy and millions off of paid advertisement. So once again, it's not necessarily about the best strategy that works. Every strategy works, but what's most important is choosing a strategy that you like the best. Number 2, I had to learn the hard way. And I know some of you probably do this too, but number 2 is working more hours will not actually make you more successful if you are not being productive. Okay, I used to be the girl who would go to coffee shops all day long. I would bring my laptop, my phone, I would get a tea, maybe a croissant, and then I'd pull up Canva, work on some Instagram posts, pull up my phone, start scrolling on TikTok, and then, I would go watch a YouTube video, and then all of a sudden, the day just went by, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like I did so much, but then when I actually looked at my laptop, I didn't really get anything done. So if you find yourself doing the exact same thing, like you feel like you worked literally all day, but maybe like 65 or 75% of the time, you weren't actually being productive. You were either scrolling on your phone, or maybe you're just doing busy tasks that didn't necessarily make any movement in your business. This is where you actually want to prioritize what you're doing throughout the day. And to be honest, nowadays, I can get so much more done in like a 3-hour time block versus like spending 8 hours trying to get certain tasks done, but then getting sidetracked because I'm not actually being productive. So I like to make a list of maybe like 3 to 5 things that I want to get done within a 3-hour time block. And yes, if I want to go to a coffee shop, I will, but it's not just going there to work on my business. I actually have specific tangible goals and tasks that I want to get done. So I wish I knew this in the really beginning, because I always saw people just going to coffee shops or just like working on their business all day long. And I thought if I just worked all day long, it would get me more clients, make me more money, build my business a lot faster. But it did the opposite because once again, I wasn't necessarily being productive. So you just want to bring self-awareness that if you are working all day in your business, you should be very, very successful in your business. And if you're not, it's probably because you're not being productive and or you're not focusing on the right things. And if this really resonates with you, let me tell you, number 4 is probably going to make a lot more sense when it comes to choosing a good business model. But before we go into number 4, number 3 is something that I truly wish that I sorted out in the beginning because it was a headache like a year and a half later inside of my business. But number 3 is get your legal, finances, and LLC in check in the really beginning. Now, I did not have my LLC set up correctly, probably once again for the first like year and a half of my business. And I didn't even know that until I moved from Iowa to Florida back in 2020. And I had to set up my LLC again in Florida. And finally, I hired an accountant. They're like, oh, you did not even have your LLC set up right. So I was actually losing a lot of money because I was like overpaying for taxes. I wasn't on payroll, and I just once again did not know what was going on with my business. Now, I'm not one to give you legal advice, but I do highly recommend, especially if you're already making money in your business, take the time to set up your LLC correctly. And once again, if you do have some additional income to invest back into your business, this is really important. So hire an accountant, someone to set it up for you, even if you want to pay someone just for like an hour and they can walk you through how to set it up on your own. Or you can even use websites, I believe like LegalZoom, and that really makes the process a lot easier because I think it's like step by step. But once again, Google and YouTube is your best friend. You can search how to set up an LLC for a single member business that's going to save me the most money when it comes to taxes. And you'll probably find hundreds of YouTube videos talking you through how to choose what type of LLC to set up, the steps of actually setting it up, how to pay taxes, like all of those things that might be foreign to you because once again, it was foreign to me. And let's be honest, it still kind of is because my accountant does it for me. But don't like, kind of just like disregard and be like, oh, I'll do like the legal and financial stuff later, because when later comes around, it's going to be 10 times more frustrating and annoying, and you'll probably end up paying a lot more money than you would have if you set up correctly in the beginning. Now, number 4 kind of goes hand in hand with number 1 and number 2, but please do not choose a business that you think will make you the most amount of money. Choose a business that excites you the most, okay? So once again, similar to like every marketing strategy works, you would just want to choose one that's most aligned to you. Same thing with businesses. I want to say like 90% of the time, if you have a product idea or a business idea, there is demand in the marketplace, and you can easily make anywhere from 6 figures to $1 million selling the product and building the business. But I will tell you, it is so easy to get sucked into these like get rich, making money schemes, especially once again, if you're on Instagram, TikTok, and people are saying this is like the best business to start. I just made, $10,000 in 1 week. And although that is possible for you to do, please do not get into a business where you're solely doing it for money, because it ends up being more of a burden than a blessing, because it's not even exciting, joyful, passionate, or fun to do. Now, this does not mean that you can't try out different businesses to see what aligns to you the most. And that's actually what I do recommend doing. But once again, if you come across a business idea and you're like, oh, this doesn't really look that fun, but I see all of these people making fast money, you just want to do your research and see, is this something that's actually going to make you happy in the long term? Now, I personally didn't run into this mistake with my current business right now, but before the business that maybe multi 6 figures, I tried like 2 to 3 failed businesses, and it was mainly because I started those because of the money. I wasn't necessarily super excited, passionate about it, but I saw other people doing it, and then of course it failed, right? So, test out, see what you want to do, but once again, at the end of the day, every single type of business, like 95% of the time, works. And if you're not sure if it's a business that's high in demand, honestly, just do a search. Go on TikTok, go on Instagram, type in like your topic or your niche or your product, and see if there's videos about it. See and look at the comments and if people are buying, and if so, that basically just validates the idea, and I would just go forward and start building that business. And once again, when you do choose a business that's really exciting and joyful, you're not just once again going to a coffee shop for like 8 hours a day and not being productive. You're actually excited to get things done because it's something that you're super passionate about. Okay, last but certainly not least, number 5 is your success is 100% a mindset game when it comes to business. I'm the first to say strategy, marketing, sales, it matters, and it matters a lot. However, if you don't believe you can actually be successful, or you have the fear of being seen on social media, it honestly does not matter. If you're implementing $1 million strategy or idea, it will still not work for you because you're in a lack mindset. And in the really, really beginning of my business, I honestly did not know this and I did not understand it. And how I didn't know this was because I actually joined like a coaching / mentorship program in the really beginning. I invested $10,000 of the money that I did not have, by the way, because I didn't even make 10 grand in my business yet. But I invested this money, and inside of this coaching program, they gave me a step-by-step strategy. They're like, okay, if you do this, this, and this, you're going to make 6 figures in like the next year. And I saw everybody else in that coaching program making so much money. They're making $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month, $50,000 a month. So in my head, I'm like, okay, if I implement this strategy, it is going to work. But let me tell you, I got the wind knocked out of me by week 3 when I was implementing this strategy, and I made $0. And I quickly learned it wasn't the strategy that didn't work because everybody else was making money with the exact same strategy. It was my mindset. I truly did not believe the actions that I was taking in my business, it would work. Like people would actually pay me money to learn and get the service that I was providing. And like I was selling on social media, posting, but in the back of my mind, I was like, no one's gonna buy this. Like, I'm doing this for what? Like, I'm just like a small town girl from Iowa. Like, who's actually gonna take me seriously? Like, all of the limiting to beliefs that were basically stopping me from actually attracting what I wanted. So once again, it did not matter how many posts I made, how many times I sold, I was not getting the results because it was coming from a lack mindset. So I wish I knew to spend a little bit more time, and honestly not even a little, a lot more time on my mindset when it came to really attracting what I wanted in my business, because that's what I do now. That's what I teach my clients now, is attraction-based marketing and how to build a business in that way, because it would have saved me so many headaches, so much more time, and honestly so much more money, because even after that it still took me a little bit to understand I need to work on my mindset, because I would just invest money after money into different strategies to learn new things. But at the end of the day, once I actually worked on my mindset, that's when I started to be successful in my business. Now, if you want me to do a video on what I actually did correctly that allowed me to build a multi-6-figure business in my 20s, comment below. But that's all for today's video. I love you guys so much. And until next time, make sure that you stay unforgettable.